Welcome. Let's get into a crypto market update covering Bitcoin, altcoins, Bitcoin dominance, what my expectations are going forward. We can start things out by just doing a little recap from my last video. So in the last video, price was trading in this range right here, and I identified it as a three-wave correction that I believed the bottom was already in, and that we'd be breaking to the upside out of this specific three-wave correction. So since that video, we have actually broken to the upside now, and so we can kind of talk about this move out of that three-wave correction, where things stand right now and what the expectations are going forward out of this current little consolidation, what I'm thinking at the moment. So let's go out to the weekly time frame. We're going to go top-down analysis here. First things first is, how is our momentum looking? What's our market structure? Is there bearish divergence, bullish divergence? What's going on? So first thing is momentum. How is our momentum looking? It looks really good. We can see that this is pointing up. These actually are separating, and we have great looking momentum. There's no reason to think that this is ready to come down. We can also look at the balance of power here, the green wave, where it's made a fresh high, coinciding with our highest closing price of this specific move. So weekly momentum is looking great. We can look at RSI as well, which also looks good because we just got a 70 plus reading, which means strong momentum to the upside. And so this is fine. This is looking quite healthy. There's no bearish divergence on this whole move up. And so the expectation would be continuation to the upside based on the current momentum readings that we're seeing here. And now for the structure. So in the last video, we covered the structure that was currently in play, which was looking like this. The structure we were in at that time was this one here. This was the weekly bullish market structure. And now we've broken out of this specific weekly bullish market structure range, which means we can actually update our most important low that needs to hold on close of the weekly time frame to this one right here at 98,100. Okay, so now we are in a new weekly bullish market structure because we broke the highs there out of this one. Now weekly needs to hold on close at this level down here, 98.1. Okay, right around 98.1. I'm not getting it exact, but it's right around 98.1. It's just this low right here. Okay, so that is the low that needs to hold according to the bullish market structure on the weekly time frame. Obviously, we're way over the 200 EMA, so overall uptrend and weekly bullish market structure, momentum heading up and looking good. No bearish divergence currently, so things are looking great. On the weekly time frame, the expectation is going to be follow through out of here, but that doesn't give us a very precise look into things for those of you who want to know more short term what we're looking for. So this is the longer term picture. We can also put up the halving cycle profit, where we still have room in timing wise in this cycle before we need to be super cautious about a top being in. Okay, seeing as tops are in on all of these previous cycles, timing wise, we're looking at around early November 2025. That's where we get very cautious about the top already being in, but for now we still have time to continue running here. Momentum is looking fine, so expecting that we will continue higher out of here. Okay, that's it for the weekly. We can go down to the daily now. Let's get rid of all the drawings. So for the daily time frame, this was the three-wave correction range I was talking about breaking to the upside out of. And right now, first things first, let's look at the momentum. So we're in a bit of a correction. We kind of crossed down here with our momentum right here. And RSI, here we put in a peak. And our highest point was 76.03, which is great. We want to go even higher on the next push. So right now, this is looking corrective. We're just kind of chopping sideways for a few days here. The expectation is going to be soon a break to the upside, and we want this next break to the upside to be strong enough that we make new highs on our momentum indicators as to not start building up bearish divergence. So I want to see this cross up, make new highs, TCI here. And then on RSI, breaking this current high at 76.03. Okay. So we want to see that RSI break that level on this next move to continue this strength. Right now, it looks fine because our highest point on our momentum indicators aligns with the highest points, highest close on our price. Okay, so there's no bearish divergence to be spoken of here, which means that this move likely still has legs, and that's going to be the expectation. I want to see as strong of a move as possible. We can kind of get down to the 4 hour to talk about this specific correction, but for these higher time frames, daily and weekly, things are looking good. Momentum looks fine. We're over 200 EMAs, obviously, bullish market structure, and there's nothing that is looking concerning right now. So let's go to the 4 hour and talk about what might be the best opportunity here. And this 4 hour is where we can talk about how we kind of broke structure a little here, but we maintain the overall trend. And so what I'm talking about is we lost the 4 hour bull market structure here. So bullish structure did get lost here, but we maintain the 200 EMA on the 4 hour time frame. So we're still in an overall uptrend here. This just would suggest that it may be a little bit of a more drawn out correction, which doesn't mean it needs to be. But often when we lose the structure like this, we get something like a 3-wave correction like this. Doesn't mean we have to, but if we do get this type of 3-wave correction here, the expectations still follow through to the upside for the next trending move to the upside. But this would be a great buying opportunity in my eyes, if you weren't already long. If you're following me on X, you know I already have multiple longs in currently on Bitcoin from the 3-wave correction, 99,000 entry. Got the ARB long, Litecoin long. The best one was CRV, 49.60. We'll get to altcoins in a sec, but if you're not already long, probably worth a shot in my opinion if we get this kind of 3-wave correction. Personally, wouldn't want to enter right here. Kind of mid-range, chopping around when we have the loss of the 4 hour market structure here. So, it may happen where we just go straight up because we're so bullish. But I just don't want to go against the odds. When we do break structure here, it is more times than not where we see another move to the downside. So either way, it doesn't really matter. We're talking about a tiny move. So we're talking about 3-4% to the downside from here before massive continuation towards the upside. So it's not concerning. We've reset on RSI, which is great. So you can see reset below the 50 line here. We don't have any bearish divergence on the RSI. We don't have any bearish divergence TCI. We've reset here nearly below the 0 line. So we want to see this start curling up, cross to the upside to get us going on that next trending move to the upside for the breakout. So I'm thinking 2 ways. Either we just go straight up from here because, we are in a very bullish environment. Weekly, daily suggest higher. Or, we get a little bit more downside, just 3-4%, nothing major, before continuing to the upside. So that's going to be the case right here for this specific pullback that we're seeing. And, maybe it looks something like this, just a 4 hour 3-wave correction, similar to our larger daily 3-wave correction here. So I could see that playing out, but the expectation is going to be continuation higher and with a quite strong follow through to the upside. So that's pretty much all I need to cover for Bitcoin. We can talk cycle top targets. I already covered timing. So that November, I believe it was, for the weekly here. Just where you want to be cautious based on history, having cycle profits. So early November, November 3rd, 2025 is when we want to be thinking that the top is probably in for Bitcoin. Obviously, things can change, but just based on all of the history that we have, with these halving cycles, it's been pretty consistent. So just a good time to be cautious at that point once we get over to this area. So we're getting there. It's another 100+ days. So a good few months of explosive movement to the upside is what's going to be expected for the time being. And for me, cycle top target for Bitcoin is going to be in that 180 to 250K range up here. So that's going to be kind of the plan with Bitcoin is strong movement to the upside, get very cautious as we get to that price range, 180, 200K, plus especially if we reach this timing wise, and we have reached those prices already to 180K, 200K-ish area. We just want to be making sure we don't give it all back, all these gains that we've had from multiple great moves of this current market cycle. So that's it for Bitcoin. Let's go to Bitcoin dominance. So something very interesting with Bitcoin dominance that is promising. We have a fantastic move to the downside here, giving us very strong downside momentum. So we're going to 15.29, 15.17 today, but on close 15.29 for a very strong momentum reading. There's no sign that a bottom is in. So what this would mean is any pullback we get, maybe it pulls back here, maybe it pulls back here, maybe it just chops sideways and continues down. But the idea is that we just continue down. There's not enough development on this little pause here yet to really say how this correction might pan out. But overall, heading down is going to be the main idea. We have very strong momentum reading to the downside. And just so you guys are aware, we haven't had this strong of a momentum reading since the alt season of 2021. So for a top to be in on Bitcoin dominance seems pretty likely. So there it is. Look at the RSI. Very strong momentum there. You can see that this was the last time during this huge meltdown of Bitcoin dominance, big altcoin season. And so hopefully, fingers crossed, we have that happening right now, and that this is the first move down of the quote-unquote alt season. So we should see some altcoin outperformance. If the top is in here, we can see that we've lost the structure as well. So we broke down below this level. See if we can do it on a weekly. We'll know soon enough. Let's look at the weekly. We'll know in a day and 11 hours. So we may lose the weekly bullish market structure, which would be really good. We can also point out weekly. Look at this. We have beautiful bearish divergence that's been building for quite some time. Lower high, lower high, lower high, lower high. And so that may be it. If we can hold below the 50 here, even find us getting down to below 30, that would be a great sign that we have strong momentum to the downside. Okay, so altcoins, the idea there with this chart is pullbacks will be buying opportunities on altcoins. Okay, now we can also look at this with the Bitcoin halving cycle profit. So this lines up nicely as well with the same dates. You can see that November target, the November 3rd. Look at how this also tends to be where it's about time to get out of the market altcoins as well. So this is, seeming to be pretty consistent. I would just be cautious once we get to this time. It can just be a coincidence. We don't know. It's trading. It's subject to change, and you never know. Things are going to repeat, but just be cautious. Okay. Be aware. Now, for the targets of this, that we can kind of take partial profits on altcoins, I was thinking a few things. Number one was going to be timing wise with that thing I just showed you of the Bitcoin halving cycle profit. If we reach the end of that, it's probably time to exit. Another thing was retest partial profits. Most logical level right here. You can see where we spent time here, here, here. We flipped it. So if we get down here on Bitcoin dominance, that's a partial profit on altcoins. So spot bags and also these longs. If I'm holding any of these longs still, which I likely will be holding partials on these, partial profits can be taken for these longs as well once we start reaching the first target here. Logical target that we may be heading towards with Bitcoin dominance. And then next one would just be the lows here. Okay. And then lows over here. So it's just some basic logical levels to take partial profits at if we start heading down towards these levels. You want to lock in profit on the way with the altcoins. I wouldn't try, waiting too long to start locking it in. If you have ridiculous returns that would take a whole lifetime to achieve in most traditional markets, it's wise to lock those in. So that is kind of the plan. Lock in partials at these logical levels. And timing wise, looking to essentially be mostly out of the market once we reach November. Okay. And things can be a little bit subject to change as I kind of look at the momentum, how things are looking, and so on. But that's going to be the game plan right now for the most part. Okay, let's take a look quickly at some altcoins. So put it back up my 200 EMA. I was looking at the monthly Litecoin cross over the 50 line here. So if we close this monthly with this cross here, and then look at our TCI curling up from below the zero line, now crossing up, but above the zero line, which is the beginning of a trend more times than not. The expectation going to be major continuation out of this huge 8-year range. A minimum target that I would think about taking profits at is 1,000, but beyond that, 1,500, 2,000, realistic targets for Litecoin for sure. When you have an 8-year range break like this, and we break the highs on this cycle, I'm not saying it has to happen, but I think it's very likely. It would be weird to only hit 1,000. It would likely, it's likely we're doing at least this whole range above the range. So I really don't think I would be surprised if it even got as high as 5,000. But conservatively, taking profits along the way, as I was saying before, is the way to go here. Exiting the market is, in my opinion, the way to go. So I showed the CRV long from 49. I don't have as much conviction on CRV as I do with Litecoin. Again, I'll be watching Bitcoin dominance for making my decisions about altcoins when to exit. But these are my spot bags for those of you who haven't been following me on X or on YouTube for a while. These are my spot holdings. So Litecoin CRV, CVX, HBAR, Phil, R. For CRV, just looking to logical levels. So 3 is a logical level. We have a logical level here, untapped high, 159, and then all-time highs. So these are the 3 levels that I plan on taking partial profits at. I would exit everything if we made it to all-time highs. CVX. Let's take a look. Look at our weekly momentum here with the TCI. It's looking amazing. Cross up. We're building to the upside with higher lows and momentum here. We actually came out of a weekly 80 plus RSI, and then we reset below the 50 line, and it looks like we're ready to go again. So we got this cross up here, TCI from below the 0 line. Things are looking really good with the momentum here. Looks like we're just getting started. So ideally we can get going in a big way, even a cross up like this. Obviously that's not for time wise, that is not for scale, but something like a big move to the upside where we get at least to test this level at 15. So logical level right there, another logical level right here, 38. And then there's all-time highs, 60. I'm not sure we make it to 60, but we'll see. Depends how Bitcoin dominance comes down. Let's take a look at H-bar. Really nice looking H-bar here with this consolidation over the 200-week EMA, resetting everything. So look at this RSI, resets below 50, ready to go again now. So next trending move, easily all-time highs out of H-bar in my opinion. So taking profits on H-bar above all-time highs. It's very hard to give targets for breaking out to all new all-time highs. So taking profits along the way is the smart way to go about it, because no one knows where it's going to go, how the euphoria can kick in and we see these huge spikes and then sudden rejections down 80% in one day. Things like that can happen. So you just want to be locking it in along the way. Filecoin is interesting. So we're just coming off of all-time lows here. Filecoin, it's behind. So with this one, we came down to 190, $2 basically, about $2. So I mean, let's see, untapped high would be here. This is the first untapped high, really. Could also do this one here. Just looking to logical levels to take partial profits at. And then, this is where we kind of started the bear market at, around 40. So I'd be super happy if we can get up to 40, 28. This would be, fantastic if we can get that high, but partial profits along the way, as I was saying. ARB, this one is a bit different. We don't have a lot of price history, but if we take a look at our momentum, look how good this looks on the weekly. See this here? This big higher low cross up, momentum shift. And then look at this big bullish divergence on the weekly. Things are looking good, and we're crossing over 50 right now, weekly RSI. So again, kind of have to just look to logical levels. For my trade, it's a bit different, but for my spot holdings, I'd really just be looking for reaching these major levels, new all-time highs, the most obvious untapped levels that we're seeing here. So things are looking good on high time frames for getting us into a really nice alt season that kind of lines up with Bitcoin dominance and where Bitcoin stands, leading into the end of this bull market cycle, where we should see the most aggressive low-off top move. So that's kind of the thoughts there with the overall market cycle, exiting near the end, as close to the top as we can, and then exiting crypto altogether as far as spot holdings. And obviously I'll continue to trade it through the bear market and then try to load back up at where I believe the next bear market is coming to an end. So as far as putting where to put that money, it's up to you, but definitely don't buy a car. I would have put it into real estate, S&P 500, mutual funds, or just your trading account. So if you are successful, if you're trading, you're getting a return that's greater than the S&P 500 on an annual basis, then definitely add some of that profit that you took out of your spot bags, put that into your trading account. So yeah, that would kind of wrap things up for this video. Got on a tangent, probably pretty long video. I don't know how long it is now. Make sure to follow me on X again if you want to see the frequent updates, trades that I'm taking, and so on. Also, Bitunix Exchange, my affiliate, no KYC, no VPN needed. Anyone can use this crypto exchange, and they've been great. So check out Bitunix using my affiliate link. Thanks for watching.